attorney who served as executive director of the Congressional Black Caucus. Scottie Bell, political editor for RightAlerts.com, and Sally Kohn, a Clinton supporter who is also a columnist with the Daily Beast. Ladies, the Hillary standard. You heard Angela. Let me just begin with you. Is that fair? Do you think she faces a Hillary standard?
I think it's fair. I think the challenge is, I think the Hillary standard is one thing when you're talking about the way in which they continue to say that she wants to abolish the Second Amendment, and we know that's not rooted or grounded in any fact. I don't think that she should take that and apply that to the email challenges that she's had at the State Department. I also think that she should allow us surrogates to talk about the Hillary standard and not go all Bernie Sanders on us in the third person and use that same type of thing. And that's not shade to Bernie. I just love that he goes, Bernie Sanders, you know. And so the whole thing is she just needs to be careful about that, right? Like she just can't do it.
You laugh. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. No, that was a funny illusion.
It was.
Angela made me laugh. Yeah, that's all. Which was nice, because I gotta be honest, I laughed because I want to laugh right now because my heart is really hurting. It's feeling really heavy over the behavior of some Bernie Sanders supporters this morning, both to Debbie Wasserman-Schultz and to Senator Sanders himself. And you know, I was a faithful and devout Bernie Sanders supporter. I believe in his vision. I still believe in his vision. I am from the Warren wing of the Democratic Party, proudly. You know, we agree on so much more than we disagree on. And our vision of unity, and you know what? 85% of Bernie supporters are now backing Hillary Clinton, which is a higher percentage of Hillary Clinton supporters than backed Obama in 2008. So I understand they have the right to keep speaking, to keep protesting. I support that right. I'm a community organizer by training and by heart. I would like to see us do it in a way that is civil and does not sink to the kind of insults and jeers and hurtful behavior that I think of associated with Donald Trump and his party. But better
on Mr. Trump, when we saw him do this multiple times, I imagine perhaps as we see him in Roanoke next hour, I mean, the Trump folks, and I'm looking at you, want those Bernie or busters.
We do, because we see there's a lot of things they do have in common. They put the worker as number one. They put American workers first. And so when you talk at trade policies, but listen, I agree with you, Seth. My heart is breaking here. This is deja vu for us. I feel like I've just been in a seat a week ago, and I think the bump that Mr. Trump had in the polls comes from the fact that the Ted Cruz people that are now supporting Mr. Trump after what happened. So I think Bernie Sanders and the supporters have got to understand they're the ones that are going to be a part of that post-convention bump. And it's up to the entire Democratic team to bring them in this week. That's going to be your goal, your job. We obviously have done a really good job with it because everything is showing that last week was a success and continuing to unify the Republican Party. Now it's your turn.
I'm watching your face, Angela Rye.
There's just one point. There's one point. I love Scottie, but there's one point. You can't say that Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump have the same agenda for workers, right? No, you can't say that. That's because it's not true.
No. Because it is, because they both actually put the American worker first.
But what I think that sometimes you just have to dig into the definition of things. When you talk about putting, let me finish. When you talk about putting the American worker first, there's a difference between doing that in word and then doing that in deed. One of the best ways that you can put the American worker first, simply raising the minimum wage. I think that's it. So if Donald Trump is willing to sign a pledge and say
that is not a proven fact of how to actually help the American.
That actually is.
No, but it's not.
It helps the economy.
It actually does. Look at the states that there actually are. You can't sit there and raise the federal minimum wage when you're pushing. We're already pushing businesses out of the United States. We're already pushing them.
Ladies.
Hey,
you make the final word.
Minimum wage. Workers are doing better. Businesses are doing better.
Oh, I like that in New York and their taxes.
the city of Seattle?
But when we talk about Donald Trump as putting working people first, you say the American worker. I'm really curious why he didn't put them first when he was making his products overseas, or when he was bringing foreign workers over to run his companies.
Okay,
he said that. Forget it. Even if you don't.
Are you gonna allow me to respond?
I'm gonna finish first, honey. When you don't want to raise the minimum wage, whatever, fine. He said American workers are making too much money.
That's
so
right.
I'm a little confused. What is putting the worker?
Okay, real simple.
It sounds good.
There's three things you hit here. First of all, he did not necessarily take in context when he said American workers are making too much money. The key is he was actually talking about that you don't need to sit there and raise a federal minimum wage like that. We're sitting here, we've already strangled businesses out. TPP, he went in and had to make stuff across the board because the regulations were too much here to actually have a price point for a product here. Over 30,000 jobs he has made. How many has your guy or your girl made? None.
So it's not exactly.
So tell me about the workers. Tell me about how they actually made.
I'm happy to. You have. months. We have a couple months. November 8th. We'll see how this works out.
People can see the
We'll
real
see how this works out.
Yeah.
Ladies, thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming up any moment now, Donald Trump. He's in Virginia with Mike Pence, holding an event.